Hello, world. What is up? Welcome to Build, man. I'm your host, Matt Forte, and you know what? We're here live at the Build studio in New York City. Our next guests are a couple of living legends, all right, with individual careers spanning 17 and 19 years in the NBA, with one being a two-time All-Star and All-American, and the other a 10-time All-Star Finals MVP. I'd say, man, you guys are right to sound as excited as you do right now, all right? Now, recently, they've partnered up with Bengay for their Sore Winners campaign, which celebrates those who strive to bring their A-game at the gym, at the game, at work, and with their families. The pride of giving it 100% is important, and given their storied careers and histories together, safe bet, these two guys know a little something about being sore winners. So, ladies and gentlemen, as if you didn't already know, the great Baron Davis is here, and the truth himself, Paul Pierce. Make some noise. A little bit of noise. It's appropriate. It's pretty freaking cool. They're going to be out here in a second, all right? We're going to bring them right out. But before we do, we got a really cool video we're going to take a look at from the campaign. So, Luke, let's go ahead and run that clip, man.
And little do they know that the truth is here in coaching. So we're about to find out how they feel about that. This is all working right here, but I need everybody to go hard. Don't worry about how we're gonna feel in the morning. I know we got a bunch of old guys in here.
We in it to win it, you know?
We got the cameras, we got the arena, the crowd.
The pain never felt so good when we get this win. Let's sore winners on three. 1, 2, 3.
Sore winners!
You love basketball, you love basketball. You know, today is a day that we get to be with them and coach them and give them that experience.
Our players are real sore winners, and the first one to raise their hands and the last to leave. The red team is coached by legend Paul Pierce, and the black team is coached by Baron Davis.
There's nothing better than being in the arena and playing basketball. You know, you feel like a gladiator.
The joy you get from the roar of the crowd, the competition, the being under the bright lights, that makes it all worth it. The things we put our bodies through for that moment. One of y'all gotta come up, set a pick on the zone.
You gotta go stronger than that, dog. And one!
Andy Baston here. And your winner, get up for the red team!
We had a couple back aches, a couple guys. We're gonna be hurting tomorrow, but it paid off because we got the trophy.
Ladies and gentlemen, make a ridiculous amount of noise. Paul Pierce and Baron Davis. Right here. Legend. Oh, man, gentlemen, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here. I got to say, we get a lot of cool people. Hell, the cast of Deadpool was here this morning, but we don't get... Oh, you bummed out? Don't worry. You can watch it. It's live. It's already up there. But my point is, we don't get NBA legends, much less two at a time like this. It is an honor to have you here. I'm going to ask for one more round of applause, man. Come on.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, guys.
This is so freaking cool. Thank you. Thank you to both of you. So welcome to the show. I'm very excited you guys are here. We're going to talk about the campaign in just a second. Just first, how you guys doing? How's it going, man? How is everybody right now?
It's good, man. We've been floating around New York all day, part of the campaign, this campaign. So it's always good to get in New York at this time of the year when it's nice outside and walk around, go people watching.
Yeah, it is. You hit the sweet spot because even this time of year, it's not a guarantee that you're going to have a good day, but you got a good one. It's not bad.
Definitely.
So you guys been running around doing a bunch of stuff for the campaign?
Yeah, just running around getting some press in and, you know, trying to get outside. We've been inside for mostly all the day, but after this, we're going to walk. I'm going to walk no matter where my hotel is. I'm just going to figure it out. I'm going to walk all the way to my hotel because it's nice outside.
Just enjoy it. When you go for a nice long walk, music or just you enjoy all the sounds and sights? How do you prefer to take it in?
Half and half.
Half and half?
Half and
yeah,
half.
You mix
yeah.
it up. All right.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Like I said, we're going to get into the campaign. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. I would be crazy not to ask one question about last night's game. All right? Celtic. Right?
Yeah, y'all saw that.
Blowout. Game 1 victory. I got to bring it up People are going nuts. Some people are already saying, oh, man, they're going to go all the way. I feel like I'm a cautious optimist. It's a 7-game series, man. This is game 1. We got to wait a minute and see what happens. I just want to get some reactions. What do you think coming out of last night? How do we feel? I'd be crazy not to ask.
Ain't a Celtic.
Man, you know what?
man.
I try not to be biased, but it's hard when the Celtics are so good. So, yeah, it was really difficult to process. I didn't expect them to win like that. Not like that. I thought it would be a great game. You expect LeBron to play better, and he will next game. So they got to come with their hard hat if they want to get 2 in a row, because LeBron is not going to have another game like that.
No, well, that's just it, right? Historically, if he has a game like that, he's coming back twice as hard.
Without a
so
doubt.
they got to keep an eye out in game 2. All right, we did it. There we go. That was the one question. Thank you. Let me ask you something, though, not about that game, but in general. At this point, having had the careers you guys have, how is it for you watching a game like that, a game in general? You think back to when you were kids and you were sitting on the floor watching the game on a little screen, and now how you watch a game. How is it different for you? Compare, contrast.
You're definitely not a kid, but when you're watching it, you still have that kid-like quality, right? That kid-like love. I think being retired and looking at it, you love it and you miss it. And so you're a little bit judgmental, but at the same time, I think just because it is the game and you're watching a kid that went to your basketball camp when he was 5. And so, just the love and the excitement, is what gets me hyped up and willing to watch. And then just watching the game, it's just an appreciation for, the fact that we did it and went through it, and now being able to know what these guys are going through and see them become successful in the same way.
I mean, I've always been a player my whole life and a fan. Now just to become just a fan of the game, I'll always be a fan of the NBA. And I don't miss it though. I don't miss it because I know how hard it was to be ready each and every year. And I guess this Sore Winners campaign goes hand in hand on why I decided to retire, because people see the finished product. You see the ESPN games or TNT. You see the actual game, but people don't see what you put into it to get to that. And that's what I was tired of, waking up at 5 a.m., running on the beach, running sand hills, running stairs, lifting weights, eat breakfast, and go back to the gym at 1, then take a nap. Then, no lie. Like, we put ourselves through this resume because you want to be great. And, I put myself through that for 19 years. And it's like, when you finally wake up and you're like, you hit that alarm clock, you're like, I can't do it today. I can't run these 5 miles. I can't do 100 sit-ups and pull-ups today.
Let's get into that for a second, of that life of what kept you going all that time, and what keeps you moving forward, what pushes you to keep doing those things, getting up, running in the sand, running all these things to get to that game.
Well, it's just a competitive fire you have in yourself to want to be the best. And, when you get a taste of success, when you first get there, you want more. You want more. You want to get better. You wondering, all right, what I got to do to get to the next level. And so you put yourself through this, and it gets worse. I felt like throughout my career it got worse. It got worse. I went from putting maybe 1 hour in the gym to 2 hours to the next thing I know I'm in the gym 3 times a day. And I'm like, it's just that competitive fire and that fuel just to want to be great. That's something that woke me up and drove me every day.
And I would like to add, it's also fear, right? Because you just, we live in a state where we're constantly, paranoid. You know what I mean? We're worried about what is Paul doing in the summer, or what's Jason Kidd doing? I bet you Jason
gotta
Kidd
be better than
working
him.
out right now. And
Yeah.
it's like, damn, dude, it's 8 o'clock at night. He ain't working out. It's like, yeah, man, somebody told me Jason Kidd was working out. So, the fear of somebody becoming better than you, or the fear of you losing your spot, I think that also, is a big part of, why, you keep getting up every morning, or why you want to do it, is because, that anxiety of having that fear is ultimately the thing that makes you go even harder.
Does it get really hard where you reach a point, both having retired now, where you have to balance that fear with who you are at this point in your life, and how much farther can you fight this fight? Is that I got to imagine that's one of the hardest decisions to make, to come to and say, this is the path I'm going to take now.
Yeah, I think for me, probably different than Paul, because my career ended with an injury. So I had career-ending injury, and I was forced at that moment, whether I liked it or not, to give it up, right? And to almost like work towards not even thinking about basketball, but start to thinking about, a whole nother path and a whole nother career path. I think Paul could probably speak to, how his is different because he went the whole way. But mine was like, damn, dude, it stopped. And what am I supposed to do now?
It wasn't a decision you even got to make. The decision was made for you, and you had to adapt.
Yeah, it was made, and it was broadcasted, and it was like, you're never going to have an opportunity to come back because, it was the worst thing. It's like the worst injury ever. So, at that point, it's like, damn, dude, I can forget about it and just move on, and then take this focus and try and figure out what made me love this and, love this new pathway that I'm going into.
And what about from your side, man, having to make that decision? Because you posted a really great video on your site about talking through when it was time and really opening up and talking through it. And I just was curious, like, how you arrived there.
It's just like I said, it's just like a mental and physical thing, Like, everybody doesn't know, and, I'm fortunate to, like, make that decision for myself. Like Baron said, it was an injury that decided for him. Some people don't get the call the next year, and they're like, what's going on? For me, I was like, okay, this is it. I have an opportunity to play one more year, and just to have that, say, okay, now this is enough. It was like satisfying, because I look at my career, what I was able to accomplish. I didn't even expect to play 19 years. When I was like 23, I was like, I'll play till I'm maybe 31 or 32. Then I got to 33, and we went back to the finals. And I'm like, I still got a little left in the tank.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, I'll be done in 2 years, 35. And then the passion just kept burning. It just kept burning until it got to the point where it was like, I knew, all right, this is the last summer. I'm going to put my body through this. After that, I'm going to just focus on what I'm going to do after basketball and my kids. I've given this game a lot. I've been playing my whole life. I've been in the NBA almost half my life. And so you miss out on a lot of things, and you sacrifices that come with it. I'm from the West Coast, Los Angeles. I played most of my career on the East Coast. And so, I was saying earlier, and Baron was saying, you miss out on so many things in life in general. Christmas time with your family, watching my kids take the first step. All because I'm traveling, I'm playing ball, and I'm waking up at 6 a.m. You miss all that stuff that you just don't get that everybody else gets to enjoy. And that's the sacrifices we have as basketball players. Having Thanksgiving dinner with your family, opening presents with your kids, missing birthdays. You miss all that stuff, but that's part of the sacrifice you do when you play this game.
I got to imagine, knowing that, having that's the sacrifice you guys have made, that it made that video that we got to see, where you can give these guys just a taste of all that glory without having to burden them with that sacrifice. That had to have been a kind of a cool thing to be able to do, to show up and give them, there's a crowd in the stands, man. Right. There's an announcer here. We got legendary coaches. Talk about the getting involved now with this campaign and what it's been like to do these kind of cool things.
It's been wonderful. We had that group, fraternity group, and, maybe some of them had dreams of playing college or even playing pro, but didn't get a chance to make it. And so, these guys, Baron uses the term, they're weekend warriors who like to get out there and ball. They're a little older. You see the knee pads and the ankle braces and the elbow pads. And so we was able to give them a little bit of an NBA experience for one day, from guys who lived the NBA, played the NBA, and can talk about it and give them some pointers. And it was perfect. You could see the excitement on their eyes, and I was just looking at some of the guys, I was just hoping nobody got hurt. I was just like, all right, you guys, this is what we're gonna do. This is the game plan. Let's keep it simple, and let's not get hurt.
Well, that's just it. How do you walk into that scenario, and how do you coach right? How do you coach those guys? You're just seeing them for the first time. You're worried they're going to get hurt. You want to make it fun for them. What do you actually do? How are you doing that? How are you making that environment?
It's all improv. It's on the fly.
Yeah.
And you really surprising them was one thing. Then I think that once they got over the giddiness, it was like, yo, you still have a game to play, and I'm still trying to win as a coach. So we had a lot of fun. But I think in a game like that, it's more so improv. You're like subbing guys in and out, and you're like, oh my God, he can't run. Bring him out. Oh, he can't catch. Take him out. Like,
you know
you're
what?
trying to find,
He got tired real fast. Get him out of there.
They get tired fast, so man,
It's easy. You can just keep subbing them every minute because they all out of shape. And it's easy, you know.
But they played, they played hard. They got a chance to get their name called in front of their family. It felt like you were on TV when we were inside the arena. So, for those guys, it was just, for us to honor them, to honor the everyday man, the everyday guy who's still training hard, who's out of shape, like myself, still trying to get in shape, and is sore. And so, with the Bengay partnership, I think the sore winter just made, so much sense that we were able to, take some time out of our day to coach these guys. Yeah, for sure.
Did you guys come onto the campaign at the same time? Was it like, oh, if Barron's doing it, I'll do it, or oh, if Paul's doing it, I'll do it?
Yeah, I heard that
thing,
Barron was doing it. And, we're childhood friends. A lot of people don't know. We've been knowing each other.
I was going to bring
10
that
years
up.
old,
Yeah.
11, 12 years old. And it's funny that we both made it to the NBA. We both played on the same team throughout junior high and high school. And, once I knew he was on board, I was like, I'm in. Sore winter, it fits me because, I've been through the soreness and the winning goes hand in hand with me. I was able to endure a lot of pain to get to that ultimate level of winning a championship. And people don't know how hard that is and the pain and the aches that you deal with. Like, you watch the NBA playoffs right now, there's not one person 100%. Nobody. It's going to have
not even
somebody with a partially torn calf maybe, or slightly sprained ankle, or back tightness. It's something right now. After you play 82 games and then you go through 2 rounds of the playoffs, it's something. You got bruises everywhere. So, this campaign made sense for me and Barron because we've been through the aches and pains, and it goes hand in hand with us. We've been sore throughout our career, but we've won. When you make it this far, you make it to the NBA, you're winning. Yeah. And it takes a lot of sacrifice and dedication and pain to get there.
Barron, I had read you guys bring up your childhood friends. I read an interview you did a while ago where you talked about your memory of the first time you guys met. Some about snacks or whatnot.
Yeah. I stole his chili cheese.
He stole my chili cheese Fritos, man.
I was like, man, what you got over there, young fella? You got some chili cheese fries?
Good game. I was like,
see them right quick.
I ain't know nobody. I'm from South Central. I'm in Inglewood. I'm like, I
think I was like 8th grade, and he was. I don't think I was like 7th grade. He was 6th grade.
Good game, dog. You got gang. Let me get them chili Fritos. He smoked my chili Fritos. I was like, man, he the big dog around here. Like, I'm gonna take care of anybody. I'm gonna take care of the big dog, and he was a big man. At the Inglewood YMCA.
That's funny.
I was really excited to get both sides of that. That's fantastic. Did you guys, growing up, did you push each other a lot? Were you motivated by one another, motivated by those
I used to
around
cuss
you?
him out when we was kids.
The one thing
we used to get mad at Paul, I swear to God. He was so good. He was so good.
He was so passionate about the game. He was emotional. He hated to lose. That's one thing I remember. He
Cry every time we lost.
Yeah, he cried a few times. But I think since I was older, Barron had a chance to watch my path. Coming up through junior high and making to be an All-American in high school. It's funny because I went to college and I came back once and caught Barron in a tournament over Christmas break. People don't know this dude. I didn't know. I would never thought he would grow to be over 6 feet. For one, because he was like the shortest, skinniest kid
every year
in the whole YMCA. So I just remember coming back my freshman year, and the dude grew like 4 inches and was dunking. And I was like, you dunking now? He was like, yeah, I'm dunking. I was like, man, he was all stronger and more athletic. And I was like, man, because I haven't seen him in a while. And it was like, and then I watched the McDonald's All-American game. I was like, he's a pro. I was like, he's going to be a pro.
But I think with Paul, you just you know, when you have somebody that's like a brother and a big brother, and you're watching them every step of the way, they just carving out space, right? And so it's like, damn, Paul doing that. If I do that, what Paul do, you know what I mean? So it was also like leading by example, because you know, he was older than me, and there was, you know, a couple other good guys on the team that had an opportunity to kind of further their career, but Paul was the most focused. And Paul had he had a focus and just kind of like an inner strength that, like, no matter what we said, no matter what nobody said, he was so good at basketball, right? And he knew it, but he hadn't caught up to himself, right? And so as he really start catching up to himself, I'm witnessing like, damn, dude, like Paul, he's hard. He's the top dude in the country. And so you see him in McDonald's and all that. I even wanted to go to Kansas till I took my visit and it was snowing, and I was like, nah, I'm a LA dude. I'm gonna stay here. But, you know, it's just a testament to, you know, as kids, seeing another kid, right, that you kind of look up to and you want to be friends with, you watch that person like grow every step of the way, and then you find yourself just kind of like, I'll just follow his road, you know?
That's a really important skill, to be able to see that and be inspired by it and not discouraged by it, especially because you're like 15 minutes away from each other, where you like grew up born. You mentioned how, Baron, you would cry when you lost. And, you know, we talk about you guys as legends. The road to becoming a legend is not just about the records that you set and the victories. It's about, you know, turning failure into fuel, knowing how to take those losses and what to do with them. Is that a skill? It sounds like you, Baron, might have had to learn because you were crying at the losses, but do you think it's something you're born with or something you develop over time?
It's definitely something you develop.
Yeah.
You know, I was a kid. I was so passionate about, you know, playing and being competitive, and, you know, when I lost, I would cry, and I just didn't understand what losing was until I lost enough, right? And then somebody explained it to me that, you know, it's an opportunity to get better the next time. And so for me, it was just like start to learn to understand, like, you know, I would get whoopings for crying, you know, after games, because I would have the worst attitude. And so my grandma and my sister, they would just tell me about, you know, like, dude, you can't win them all. I'm like, yes, I can. You know what I mean? I can win them all. But after you learn, you know, through loss, even, you know, on the court, off the court, through loss, like losing a loved one, or, you know, messing up in school, or, you know, things like that, it just helps you build character. And so, you know, I started to learn how to embrace that, and then that made me a better person and even a stronger basketball player.
All right, we're going to turn it over to audience Q&A in just a second, but I would be remiss not to. The only reason I am even lucky to have you two guys here is because you're doing this campaign with Bengay, so I want to thank people at Bengay for bringing you guys to us,
Trust
man.
me,
Yeah,
it
for
works.
sure. Yeah, did you follow up with those guys after that game? How were they feeling?
Hey, they good. Now they ready to go again. They got
Go.
some of the sauce on them. They good.
Fantastic. I got a bunch in the room. We got microphones out there. Let's start it off, I think, right here on the green couch.
Yeah, what's going on? A question for both of y'all. Who was your toughest competitor, like matchup-wise, in the NBA, and why?
It's a lot.
Like for me, I've said different people at different times, and there's so many great players, man. It's hard to like really put a finger on one. For me personally, I say Carmelo Anthony. Then this is not a knock on like Kobe or LeBron or anything like that, or Tracy McGrady, Vince Carter, just so many great matchups, you know. But I just think out of all those guys, he was just like the combination of just his shooting, his strength, and his footwork was like really difficult for me, because out of those guys, he was the only one that played inside and out, you know, most of the time. You know, you see LeBron, he plays inside sometime. If he posted up more, it'd be really, I mean, not that he's not already unstoppable. With Kobe, I can kind of be more physical with him, so he would never post up, you know, but he's probably the greatest scorer of this generation. So I have to say Melo.
I would say for me, Jason Kidd, just because he was like one of the smartest people, and he never showed any emotion, and like you couldn't like read his expressions, and like that's so frustrating you know, in the game because you looking like, dude, like, is he affected by what's happening? He just, and he like whispering to dudes, like, what are you whispering about? But he's like an evil genius. Jason Kidd was like an evil genius. And then I would say another difficult person to guard was Allen Iverson because I would, and he reminds me of this story every time. I was a young guy and I looked up to Allen Iverson, and so I was bigger than him. And every time like I would go to guard him, you know, I was like, man, I'm a F Allen Iverson up if you go to the hole. And so as soon as he get the ball, I foul him, and he would act like I was like thunder punching him, and he would like go flying in the stands, and I get two fouls. And so he would do that every game. Every game, and he would flop. So Allen Iverson is one of the biggest floppers to me. But he was one of the hardest people to guard because obviously, you know, you just couldn't stay in front of him. And, you know, as soon as he made that first move, your reaction time, by the time you reacted, you were hitting him. And he was so small that he'd go flying and he could still finish. So him and Jason Kidd were the toughest to me.
That's awesome. Thanks for that. We got a couple more coming at you. The next one's all the way over here in the back.
Hi, guys. So I love watching both of you play Baron Davis. I love seeing you with Monta Ellis and the Warriors. And Paul Pierce, my dad has shown me way too many compilation videos of your play. So this question is for both of you. I was wondering if you could coach which team would you coach? And do you see yourselves coaching anytime soon?
Oh, man. I don't know if I have the patience to coach. I'll probably, like, sub every player after every mistake they made. Because I find myself yelling at the TV all the time, like, take him out after one mistake, and I know you can't coach like that. But, I mean, you know, I shouldn't say this because they probably would call me. Well, they won't call me. I coach the Celtics. They got a great coach already, Brad Stevens. They don't need me. I mean, the Celtics, you know, I'm always going to be remembered as a Boston Celtic. And, you know, if I can coach a team, it'll be that young Celtic squad. Y'all saw them yesterday, didn't y'all? Yeah. Y'all saw that.
I pretty much coach any team that don't have a coach in the NBA right now. No, you know, if I was a coach, I probably want to coach like the Lakers or Clippers or somebody like that. I mean, if I really wanted to coach and win, I'd coach the Warriors. But if I wanted to challenge, you know, I want to do it in New York, Brooklyn, and both LA teams.
Milwaukee Bucks need a coach, man.
I'm down. I mean, assistant coach. Consultant. I can't be standing in Milwaukee
Giannis
like
over
that.
there. You got Giannis. You got a franchise player already.
He got it there. As soon as I get there, he gone.
We go with three more. We're going to do another one right here in the front.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's an honor to meet you guys. The question I have is, now that you're not playing ball full time, what's like 2 new things that you discovered that you're really passionate about or enjoy?
For me, that's pretty easy. Like, yelling at my son play sports. He's 5 years old. He plays baseball, soft t-ball right now. He plays soccer. That's fun, just yelling at him, telling him to run, telling him to keep his eye on the ball. It's like coaching him now. And, you know, just being with my kids. Like I said, you miss out on so much when you're in this game for so long. And, you know, it's just the time I spend with my kids, putting into them, seeing them grow. I have three little ones. My oldest is 10. A girl. My second girl is 6. She'll be 7 another week. And my boy is 5. Yeah, he's 5. So.
Man, we know you're looking to coach, but what else are you doing, man?
Nah, I ain't looking to coach. Not at all. I mean, you know, because of my kids, I got 2 kids, 3 and 2. I would say the thing I'm most passionate about is storytelling. So, you know, creative storytelling, writing, producing. Everything from color. I make a coloring book to a comic book to a documentary to a movie. So, you know, that's what I'm most passionate about, just storytelling and, you know, digging down in our culture and celebrating the beauty of our culture and the beauty of, the people in this room, the diversity in this room. And, you know, my mission is to make the world reflect this room, right? And the storytelling reflect the energy and the inclusiveness that's in this room.
It's amazing. Thank you for that question. We've got time for 2 more, and it looks like it's going to be right over here.
Jordan Clarkson, what's up?
Jordan Clarkson.
Hey, my question's for both of y'all. I wanted to know, what is the best moment that you guys had in your careers, and if you had the chance to play against anyone that you haven't, who would it be?
I wish I could have played against Jordan in his prime. I had a chance to play against Jordan, but he was playing for the Washington Wizards, and he was like 40 years old. You know, he was my idol. I wish I could have played against Magic. He was my idol also. But the crowning moment for me is just making it, you know, shaking the commissioner's hand, getting drafted right there. It was just like the day I got drafted, it was just like, man, you worked your whole young career to make it to this point. It was just like, that was just like, for my family to be there and my brothers and uncles to just see that, it was just like one of the best feelings of my life. And I remember draft day like yesterday because my story was different. I was projected to go top 5 pick. I didn't go top 5 pick, so then it was like the number 6 pick was called, number 7. And then I just remember my uncle, when the Celtics picked me at number 10, it was just like, you know, I was kind of feeling hurt. I was kind of hurt because I was projected the top 5 pick, and the number 2 pick was Vancouver. They was going to pick me. They didn't. So I started slipping, and I wondered why I'm slipping. I just remember my uncle yelling out when Boston selected me, because I'm from Los Angeles, I grew up a Laker fan and couldn't stand Boston, and to get drafted by Boston. And just after my uncle stood up and yelled out, "That's all right, this is where we wanted to be anyway." And I looked up and I was like, yeah, you right, Unc. You right. And so, you know, I'll never forget that.
The question, I would say getting drafted. Getting drafted for me, you sitting there as a kid when they show the draft on TV or they show it on like Sports Center or whatnot, you know, before they can show the draft live, you looking like, damn, dude. Damn, he's shaking the commissioner's hand. Look at him standing there. And, like, you forget, like, they took a picture, right? And they showing the picture on Sports Center. And then when they call your name, it's like, oh, the 3rd pick, Baron Davis. It's like, yeah, like, congratulations. And, like, all right. And they're like, no, now get off the stage. And, like, damn, what happened? So I don't even remember it. But it happened so fast. But, you know, it was like that moment. It was that moment where I knew, like, I had finally, like, made it, and I had an opportunity to do what I had studied my whole life for. So I say getting drafted was probably the most memorable. And I forgot what the second question was.
I think it was if you could play anyone in your
yeah.
Anybody that you
Magic for sure in his prime. Michael Jordan for sure in his prime. And Isaiah Thomas. I didn't get a chance to play against Isaiah, man. He be talking smack all the time.
Oh, yeah, on the show.
Yeah, on the show.
On the show with him, right.
We got time for, it looks like, one more question. It's going to come from right here in the front row.
Hey, I've been a big fan of both of you guys, and I tried to copy some of your moves, but not successfully.
It's all good.
So my question is, if in the current NBA players, out of 4 of them, who would you want to play with as on your team now, if you were to play in your
Pick 4
prime?
other players?
Yeah.
Damn, that's easy.
That's a good one.
LeBron, KD, Steph Curry, Anthony Davis.
4 players. I'm going to say Rondo, Chris Paul, John Wall, and Lonzo Ball. Because that means they're all going to pass me.
You saw that coming.
That's amazing. You got halfway through your list, and he was like, whoa. Like, you were blowing his mind with your list.
All passers. That means I'm going to get the ball every time down.
Man, they gonna
That's brilliant. My goodness. That's amazing. Well, what a perfect note to end on. Guys, thank you so much for your questions. We're out of time. Before we let you go, just remind everybody, the Be a Sore Winner campaign. Where are you guys heading off to next? You're going for a walk, right?
Going for a walk.
Keep that sore winner Bengay in your pocket.
Margarita somewhere around here.
Fantastic. Well, everybody, please do me a favor. Put your hands
you,
together.
guys.
Make a ridiculous amount of noise. For Paul the Truth, Pierce, and Baron Davis.
Nice.